Woman wakes up alone on a bench, finds a note in her hand. The first thing London resident Ellie Farnfield saw when she woke up was a thick forest in front of her. She had no recollection of how she ended up there. She felt a throbbing pain in her left leg, and her right hand was holding a small piece of paper. Confused, Ellie scanned through the handwritten note and nearly fainted. She needed to get out of there fast. Ellie was a 27-year-old woman who worked as a fitness trainer and was studying to become an acupuncturist. She was commuting from Redhill, Surrey, to London, Victoria, on a daily basis when the disaster suddenly struck, leaving her in a very vulnerable position. One evening, Ellie was waiting for her train home along with a few other commuters. After a few minutes, the train arrived, and she walked through the doors hoping to find a seat. Sadly, all the seats on the train were already taken. So, Ellie found a spot by the window and braced herself for a long journey ahead of her. 10 minutes had passed since the train departed, and Ellie started to feel sick. She felt like she was dehydrated despite drinking an entire bottle of water. Then, she felt an intense pain in her hand and her arms. Something wasn't right. Ellie started to feel dizzy and claustrophobic. She initially thought that her blood sugar was low because she didn't eat much that day. But then, suddenly, her vision went black, and she heard someone whisper in her ear. She tried to move away, but she was too weak. The last thing Ellie remembered that day was falling to the ground on the train. She didn't know for how long she had been unconscious and who carried her to the bench. When she woke up, she saw a small note in her hand that would explain everything that had happened to her. Fortunately, all of Ellie's belongings were with her. She unlocked her phone and saw 10 missed calls from her mother and 15 outgoing calls, which she didn't remember making. What had happened? Ellie was terrified. Ellie opened the note and began reading it. Eleanor, I hope by the time you read this, you are feeling better. Ellie was in shock. You had a seizure on the train, and I took you off. You didn't hit your head, but I may have hurt your leg as I walked on it before realizing you were on the floor having a fit. Sorry, the note continued. I'm also sorry I can't stay with you now, but here is a coffee to perk you up later. Ellie looked to her left and saw a cup of coffee sitting next to her. And £10 to make sure you get a taxi home. Sorry, I don't have any more money, so I hope you don't live far away. But who was this kind stranger? I've contacted people from your phone, and medical help is on its way, and you're with train staff. Wishing you all the best and a quick recovery. Love, Tom. But who was Tom? I was very confused. Then I saw the note and the money and felt quite emotional. It was such a thoughtful thing to do, Ellie recalled. Anything could have happened. I could have hit my head, fallen off the train, been there for a long time. As soon as Ellie got home, she knew she had to find the kind man and thank him for helping her. Ellie shared her story on Facebook, hoping Tom would see it eventually. Please like or share, Faith restored in humanity in London last night, she wrote. Thank you so much to everyone who helped me last night, especially Tom. Would love to try and find this man so I can return his money and add many, many thanks to it, she continued. It didn't take long for Ellie's touching story to go viral, with thousands of people sharing it in hopes of finding Tom. Everyone thinks Tom is great. There has been lots of speculation about who he might be, what he does, what he looks like, and friends shotgunning him as their future boyfriend, Ellie said in an interview. When asked what she would say to Tom, Ellie replied, "You're a star, and I really, really appreciate it. I'd also like to return the money. There is something really lovely about the kindness of a stranger. If I meet him, drinks are on me." Sadly, even after 4 years, Tom still hasn't reached out to her. It seems that he wishes to remain anonymous.